Miguel's claim of facts speaks center around the claim that organic foods are safer than conventional foods. He justified this claim with the secondary claims: 1, conventional foods have a harmful effect on the body and the environment; 2, organic foods have a positive impact on the body; and 3, organic foods are beneficial to the environment, with the first and last justifications being virtually the same claim, and all supported with very generic evidence. My claim is that organic foods are actually not any more healthy or safe for you than conventional foods. And I back this with the secondary claims: 1, organic foods contain no more vitamins or minerals than conventional foods do; 2, organic foods contain just as much bacteria as conventional foods; and 3, producers often mislabel how organic their products actually are. So the first claim, organic foods contain no more vitamins or minerals than conventional foods do. And this was a claim Miguel frequently responded to in this argument. The Morning Call reviewed studies that prove this fact in September. One study published in the latest edition of the Annals of Internal Medicine proved that organic foods contain the same nutrient content, including vitamins and minerals, than conventional foods. Even the USDA does not claim that organic foods are higher in nutritional content, simply that they are grown without certain hormones and pesticides. The idea that organic foods have a higher nutritional content is a misconception. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Citation in August suggests the same thing, that there are no significant differences in the nutritional value of organic and conventional foods. Alan Dengor, one of the report's authors, says that a small number of differences in nutrient content were found to exist between organically and conventionally produced foodstuffs, but these are unlikely to be of any public health relevance. Our review indicates that there is currently no evidence to support the selection of organically over conventionally produced foods on the basis of nutritional superiority. Second, organic foods contain just as much bacteria as conventional foods, which is another topic of debate in why you should choose organic foods. According to the same study the Morning Call reviewed, organic and conventional foods were equally contaminated by bacteria like E. coli. They also proved that this was due to reasons other than farming methods, which is where organic and conventional foods differ. So to say that organic foods contain less bacteria than conventional foods is incorrect not only in fact, but it also implies that the bacteria is less because of the way the produce was raised, which is also incorrect. Finally, producers often mislabel how organic their products are, meaning that you may not be buying something that is entirely organic. This means that organic foods often contain at least some of the pesticides and hormones found in conventional foods. According to both the LA Times and the Investor's Business Daily, this is due to the fact that the definition of organic is not truly set in stone. And with varying levels of organic foods available, they often contain amounts of these pesticides and hormones. This also means that, since they contain these chemicals anyway, they're not as safe for the environment as they're shown to be, which is another point Miguel argued. The London Times researched this topic in 2007 and concluded that, in general, there simply isn't enough evidence to prove that organic foods are environmentally less harmful than conventional foods. Not enough research has actually been done on this topic to say. In the tests they observed, locally grown organic milk was more harmful than importing conventional milk, in that it produced much more carbon dioxide and used 80% more land than conventionally produced milk. Now you know why Miguel's claim that organic foods are safer for you isn't entirely true. Because organic foods aren't any more nutritious than conventional foods, organic foods contain just as much bacteria as conventional foods, and organic foods are often mislabeled, containing the same pesticides and hormones that conventional foods have anyway.
All right, well, you basically presented an argument that's almost entirely counterclaims, and those counterclaims appear to be mutually exclusive with the claims that the advocate presented, but I think you need to remind us a little bit more during the course of your argument what those counterclaims are and what the evidence was that the advocate used to defend their particular position. When you're talking about its nutritional value, for instance, you've given us 4 pieces of information that suggest a variety of studies that found no significant difference. How do I contrast contrast that to the evidence that the advocate presented. If they had a single study that said tomatoes had 3% more vitamin C, or if they had no studies, but they just, they had this general conclusionary evidence that said organic would be better, then that's the contrast that you want to draw and say their evidence doesn't even specify what the nutritional benefit is, and the evidence that I presented, which is all contemporary and more recent than what they've cited, is in fact more thorough in the analysis. It says that there were slight differences in a couple cases, but they wouldn't have been important enough to affect anybody nutritionally. And that way you've got a good summary of the comparison of the argument that's built in there. Like I said, I think you built a very good argument for the position that you're taking. I think you need to contrast it a little bit more to the argument that the advocate presented, and do that contrast between your claims and evidence versus the claims and evidence that the advocate presented. And that's basically the same on the second point as well that you've developed. You say that the first and the third points that the advocate presented are essentially the same. If that's the case, then I think you need to explain it. And did they use the same evidence on those points? If they didn't have evidence on the third point, you could also dismiss that out of hand. All right, thank you.